Good morning. Hi, everyone. How are you? Today I want to talk about some cravings and the triggers that actually cause those cravings and how you can actually get through them. I've been hearing a lot lately about cravings, especially nighttime cravings, and just, what can we do about them? Why are we having these cravings? So we're going to dive a little bit more into that this morning. So, or this afternoon or evening, whenever you happen to be coming on and watching. Good morning, Rana. How are you? Thanks for coming on. So, if you happen to come on, say hello. I'd love to know you're here. And if you are catching the replay, #replay. So I can say hello to you as well. And if you have any questions at all, just pop it in the comments for me. I'm happy to answer your questions. So, talking about cravings, first of all, what the heck is a food craving, okay? I know it, we feel it, right? And a food craving, it's usually this intense desire. That's why we feel it, because it gets so intense sometimes. It's an intense feeling. And it comes for usually a specific food, something like really specific that we're craving. So that desire can just get to be really uncontrollable sometimes, right? And then your hunger may not be quite satisfied until you actually have that particular food, right? So it's like you have to just have that satisfaction. You have to have it. Like once you think about it and it's in your brain, you're like, I just got to have it. It's not going away. That thought won't go away. And since we're all different too, we experience cravings differently. So, of course, those cravings are usually for, junk food, processed foods, and things that are, higher in sugar and salt and fat and those kinds of things. What we usually end up craving. But food cravings can be almost like this roadblock, right? If you're trying to lose weight or even just maintain your weight. So why? Why do we actually have these food cravings to begin with? Well, it's all in your head. It actually begins in your head. And there's these specific areas of our brain that are actually responsible for, like our memory and sensing pleasure, things like that. And they are partially to blame for keeping those food cravings coming. So these specific areas, they get activated when you have this craving, all right? And like the memory area of your brain, it's associated with like a specific food with a reward, right? For example, like something where you tell your child, well, if you eat all of your dinner, if you clean your plate, then you can have some ice cream after. So it's associated with that reward. And that's what part of the brain we're talking about here. And that's actually more important to food cravings than the brain's actual reward center. So there's also usually an imbalance that's going on with our hormones. We got all those lovely hormones going on. And there's leptin and serotonin. And they also are contributing to those food cravings. And so your endorphins will actually get released all into your body, okay, after you've eaten. That's that feel-good chemical or hormone. And that actually mimics an addiction, okay? So there's a lot of things going on within our head, all this stuff going on in our brain causing these food cravings for us. And there's also your emotions too. Can't leave those out of it, right? Those get involved as well, especially if you're eating for comfort. And that's why pregnant women will especially have these really strong cravings because of the hormonal changes that are going on that can actually disrupt their... Sorry, had a call there. But the hormones in pregnant women can actually disrupt their taste in those small receptors in their brain. So there's also the possibility of a connection between your craving and the nutrients that your body really needs. Because your body craves certain foods because it's not getting certain nutrients, okay? And that's why it's so important to, when they say eat the rainbow, you really want to just have this variety of foods. So, good morning, Dr. Horton. I'm not sure. Yovanda, Dr. Yovanda. I wanted to make sure I didn't mispronounce it, but I hope I pronounced it correctly. But thank you for coming on. So the good news is that we can reduce our cravings, okay? They don't have to be so strong all of the time. And one of those things is if we just drink plenty of water. I feel like a lot of us are probably not drinking enough water throughout the day. Hey, Angela, good morning. So, hunger and thirst actually create this very similar sensations in your mind, okay? And they can get confused, all right? They confuse each other. And one of the easiest ways to just reduce those food cravings is to make sure that you're staying hydrated throughout the day. So drinking just plenty of water helps, clean out those toxins from your body, which may just, of course, benefits in your overall health and overall well-being. So I say, always have a glass of water or a bottle of water in front of you. If you always have one with you, then you can just sip on it throughout the day and you're good to go, okay? And of course, sleep. Sleep plays another role in our cravings. And what happens if you don't get enough sleep? Well, that can actually alter your hormone balance, okay? It can create an imbalance, and the imbalance actually contributes to your overeating, and when we overeat, then there's the weight gain, right? So getting enough sleep can actually bring your hormones back into balance, all right? So if you're not already getting enough sleep, if you feel like, try shutting everything down an hour earlier, to go to bed, or even a half an hour earlier, just some small steps, some small things to help you to get some more sleep. And also make sure your room is set up for optimal sleep as well. Like, you want the room really, really dark. We don't want any of these blue lights around, things like that. And just getting enough sleep can really help keep your hormones more in balance. And another thing is that to make sure you're eating enough protein. Now, I will tell my clients that protein is definitely an important part of your balanced meal and your balanced snack, right? Your carbs, your fats, and your proteins. We need all three to have a nice balanced meal or snack, because when your meals and snacks are balanced, your body is balanced, right? So you want to include, plenty of those lean proteins, because it can actually help you to reduce cravings, because what happens with protein is it takes longer to go through your bloodstream, for one. So you're not going to get those blood sugar spikes. So you're not going to have those cravings due to the blood sugar spikes, because it's going to keep your blood sugar nice and even, nice and steady. And it's going to keep you more, full longer, more satiated, okay? There's actually a study that found that overweight men were able to reduce their cravings by up to 60%. 60%. That's pretty high, I think. Just by getting 25% of their daily calorie intake from protein. Okay, so protein is a very important factor if you want to reduce those cravings. Okay, and something else that's like really simple is you could just change your environment, change the scenery that you're in. Like, replacing your habits can be really difficult to start. I absolutely realize that. And some food cravings may be due to those long-term habits that you've created for yourself. So, for instance, if someone gets maybe fast food on their way home from work, they've created that habit for themselves. So they're reinforcing that craving, right? So instead, what you could do to kind of figure out, make it a better situation for yourself, is to create a new habit. All right, and this can be just as easy as taking a different route home from work, all right, or maybe stopping at the park to go for a walk instead. Or if you're at home and you're having a craving, it may be as simple as just taking a walk around the block. Go take a nice shower, call a friend. There's so many different things that we can do, and I know it sounds really simple, but these little things just help to distract you from your craving long enough for it to subside, okay? And another thing is that obviously, eating a healthy diet, it's not all, like, a healthy diet does not, it's not always about being hungry all the time. Like, if you're eating a healthy diet, you should not be hungry all the time, all right? And actually, if you're not eating enough, it can make your food cravings worse. So a lot of us don't realize that we're actually not eating enough for our body's energy needs. Okay, so when the body is just like super, super hungry, like really hungry, it's going to crave more of those calorie-dense foods, all right? And it's going to crave them more than usual. And those are, the fried foods, the processed foods that we all know and love, right? So instead of waiting for that intense feeling of hunger to arise, right? We don't want to wait until then. It's better to have a regular pattern of meals and just healthy snacks planned out throughout the day for you to avoid those potential cravings, all right? You can set yourself up for success just from planning, all right? My clients do this. I get them on a routine of doing that, and then all of a sudden, they're creating this new habit for themselves. Good morning, Dina. I hope I said it right. Is it not Dinah? Dina? I hope I said it correctly. Correct me if I'm wrong, please. But good morning, and thank you for being here with us. And of course, with all of this, controlling our food portions is key as well, because for some people, completely avoiding the food that they're craving it's only going to make it worse, all right? And it's just gonna lead to overeating or feeling miserable without having that food. This just brings me back to when I was restricting and binging, and I was restricted, and I restricted way too much for way too long, and I was miserable, and all I did was think about these foods that I wanted, and it was like my mouth would just water just thinking about them all week long. I was like, oh, I can't wait to have this food that I'm going to just binge on when I finally have it. But knowing while I couldn't have it, or telling myself that I couldn't have it, was just, it was not a very fun place to be in, not a healthy space for me. But I've gotten out of that, thank goodness. So I moved on, and I'm no longer restricting or binging, and it's great. I eat more intuitively now, and now I teach my clients to do the same, and it's absolutely wonderful. I call it this magical place because it is so magical. Dina, thank you for correcting me, and thank you for letting me know that, yes, I said it right. So it's only going to lead to overeating if you restrict yourself, and you're going to feel miserable without having that food. And in that case, you want to bring, like I said, intuitive eating into it. And that's where you have what you want. Just have what you like. Whatever sounds satisfying to you. You need to eat it, and not wait to the point to where you've waited until you're ravenously hungry, and then you need to stop when you're full, you're satiated, you're satisfied, because it's going to be better to do it that way than to deprive yourself and binge later. Okay, and that's all part of intuitive eating. This is what I teach my clients, and it's wonderful. Dina, the problem, I don't have enough energy to work out, and my metabolism rate is so low. Okay, it's sounding to me like maybe possibly you're not eating enough. Maybe you're not giving your body what it needs for its energy needs. Okay, it's a possibility. I don't know for sure without knowing more detail about what you're eating and things like that. But that is something to kind of think about for a moment, and kind of look back and see what kind of things you're eating and how much of them you're eating. And if you'd like to dive into it any further, feel free to PM me, reach out. I'm happy to chat anytime to answer your questions. But I want to talk about some specific cravings in general, some specific food cravings that we have, because there's going to be times when you can actually satisfy that craving with something like a little bit more of a nutritious option, okay? And so I have some alternatives for you that I'm going to share with you, which I find to be some of the most common foods that people tend to crave. And potato chips happens to be at the top of my list. So you can actually replace potato chips with something, because like you're craving salt, possibly something crunchy. Replace them with some kind of a nuts or a healthy fat and protein, like cashews would be really good, or walnuts. But you still want to be a little careful with those, because nuts are higher in calories. So you still want to watch your portion, but you're going to get that salty, crunchy craving, and more nutrition out of it, okay? You can get that protein in. And popcorn. Popcorn's also an excellent replacement for potato chips as well. And then there's chocolate. Who does not love chocolate? Cravings for chocolate, that can actually mean you might need some magnesium, okay? Which you'll also find in almonds. If you just have the chocolate, then maybe you could have, like if you have to have chocolate, you could try dark chocolate. I don't know if maybe you've tried it, if you like it, don't like it, but I love it, and 70% or higher gives you tons of health benefits. It's actually really good for you, and actually the darker it is, like it's the more intensified the dark chocolate is, it makes it easier for you to feel satisfied with having a little less. So like for myself, I have that, like the bar of dark chocolate. It's like a rectangular bar, and it comes with individual squares marked out for you. I'll have just one square, like after lunch or after dinner. I'll have one square, and it just satisfies me. It's a nice way to end my meal, and I love it. I love the dark chocolate. Mine's actually 90%. And with that too, there was actually a study with dark chocolate that people who ate, like there were two different groups. One group who did not have any chocolate, any of the dark chocolate, and one group who had the dark chocolate. And the groups that had the dark chocolate actually lost more weight just by incorporating that into their life compared to the ones who didn't. So I'm telling you, there's tons of health benefits in that, but in moderation, and really just that little square. That's all I need, because it is so intense. It's that nice, rich flavor. So I only need a little bit. So there's an option for you. And of course, like candies, pastries, like the sugary type of craving, you could have some fruits instead. Get that sugar, like peaches and cherries and melon. You're all high in sugar. Even dried fruit, like keeping dried fruit around, like prunes or raisins. Those can help, combat your sugar craving. Prunes, we have prunes in the house all the time. And as a kid, I thought prunes, ew, yuck. But now, as an adult, now that I've actually tried them, I'm like, oh, wow, these taste like candy. So, these can be little other alternatives for you where you're getting a little bit more nutrition, a little more bang for your buck, I guess, but still getting that sugar craving. And then there's soda. A lot of people will crave soda, or they're addicted to soda because of the sugar, of course, because it is addicting. But maybe try some sparkling water and squeeze some fresh fruit in there, like, lemons, oranges, limes, cut up some strawberries, cherries, like whatever floats your boat in that sparkling water, you can put in. And even, it doesn't even have to be sparkling water. You can put this in your plain water as well, which is really good too. And if you're somebody who doesn't like just plain water, like if you need a flavor, and it's going to give you, the sparkling water, give you that feeling of soda, but less calories, and of course without the caffeine too. So, and cheese. I know some people just love cheese, and that's okay. But something you could try if you want to have something a little more nutritious is actually nutritional yeast, because that has more of like a savory, cheesy flavor, and fewer calories, of course, than cheese. And nutritional yeast is high in lots of vitamins, like all your B vitamins, folic acid, like vitamin B12, things like that. So these are all these different options that you could possibly try. But if you're having a craving, overall, bottom line, have it. Whatever it is you're craving, you're feeling like, you need to have it, because there's that satisfaction factor that comes into play with intuitive eating. And if you don't satisfy yourself, if you just don't feel satisfied after you've eaten something, what's going to happen? You're more likely to go keep searching for something, because you never felt truly satisfied. So eat the cookie, eat the brownie, eat the candy bar, whatever, ice cream, chips, whatever you're craving, have it in a way where you didn't wait till you were ravenous, so you're not going to overeat it, and then you're going to stop once you get full. Like you're not overly full. You're full, you're satisfied, and you're satiated, and you feel good, like you're re-energized. When you go past that line, then you start feeling sluggish and tired again, and that's not where we want to get to. So you can have what you want as long as you eat it within a way that feels good to your body, okay? Dr. Yolanda, before the pandemic, I lost 25 pounds. Since then, I've packed on those pounds and probably a little more. Hold on, let me see. It says see more. Now I'm craving carbs. Carbs, yes. Diabetic, so carbs are the worst enemy to sugar, next to sugar. Yes, absolutely. And so if you're craving those carbs, think about, are you getting enough protein and healthy fats in your diet? Because those are going to help keep you more satisfied and satiated and keep that blood sugar nice and stable for you. Where those carbs shoot it right up, right? It shoots that insulin up, and what happens when the insulin goes up? We have gravity. It's got to come back down, right? And the problem with that is when it comes back down lower than what it was to begin with. And that's why we get those crazy cravings. And we're just like, oh, I gotta eat right now. I just gotta shove food in my mouth, because sometimes you'll get, I know I get a little hypoglycemic sometimes, and if that happens to me, nothing else matters in the world. I just have to shove that food in my mouth, and I just have to grab whatever is like quickest nearby, because my body is like, I need to get back into balance fast. I need balance now. So I know that feeling, and it's not a good feeling, and it's not good mentally or physically. So making sure that we have enough protein and healthy fats in our diet on a regular basis. Okay, so that means our meals and our snacks. And see if that helps. I don't know if that's something you're already doing or trying, but try something like that. And if you'd like to chat further, like I said, anybody can reach out to me if you ever want to chat more about your own personal health and weight goals or wellness goals, things like that. I'm happy to chat with you. So, are there any questions? Any questions about the content I just covered today, about your cravings, about what you should do about your craving, or what do you crave most? Maybe you are lacking a certain nutrient or something. Your body is always sending you signals all day long. It's like has this, we have that survival mechanism built in, and it's always in there. Christine, good morning. How are you? Thanks for coming on. We're just coming to a close a little bit, but I hope that you're able to go back and catch the replay. But we just talked about cravings and why they get triggered, what's happening. It's a lot to do with the stuff going on in our head and in our brain that sometimes we just can't help, especially our hormones, things like that. But yeah, Christine, it'll be a great topic for you to listen to. It'll help you kind of just understand, why you have cravings and some things that you can do about them. Certainly we have other more nutritious options for certain food cravings, like chips that I know that you like, and a lot of us do as well, especially myself. I'm such a salt person. But we have alternatives for that, to get that craving that we're looking for, either whether it's the sugar or the salt, things like that. And then again, just to reinforce that whatever craving you are having, whether you want to go a more nutritious option or not, have your craving, have it, because otherwise, if you deprive yourself, depriving and restriction only leads to binging. Okay? And by giving yourself what you really want, what your body's really craving, you're going to stop that binge from happening in the future. So I hope that was helpful for you. And guys, let me know if you have any questions at all. And if you feel the need to talk further about anything, let me know. Feel free to PM me. So I'm going to hop off if there's no other questions right now. But I hope everyone has a very beautiful day. And I'll be back tomorrow. Bye, guys.